Columbus is dead. No, wait. Columbus is not dead. But is that the problem? So last year we go into round one, and Columbus, there's no chance they're not going to beat the Lightning. It's not going to happen. And yet they swept the Lightning. So it wasn't just that they beat Tampa. It was they swept them aside. And in round two, they gave Boston one heck of a fight. And then in the offseason, they lost Panarin. They lost Bobrovsky. They lost Duchesne. They lost Dzingel. They weren't going to be any good. They weren't supposed to be. I took them to finish 8th in the division. And here we are. They're not even the number 8 seed. So, up against Tampa, this is going to be an interesting one. Very, very interesting. Because, again, Columbus is a team that every time we count them out, they win. But now, according to the channel, they're slight favorites over Tampa in this series. So now that they're favorites, what happens? Although them being favorites doesn't mean there's pressure on them. So we'll get to that. So again, Columbus all-time is 4-0 against Tampa. When we look at career leaders, Victor Hedman has played the most playoff games for Tampa with 87. Points leader is still Marty St. Louis with 68. On the games played front for Columbus, their all-time leader, there's 3, tied with 32 games played. That's Jenner, Atkinson, and Savard. And to show just how little playoff success there's been for Columbus, Vegas has numerous players with 29 to lead them on the all-time list, and Columbus had a head start of about 17 years. Points leader is Atkinson with 23, and Cam Atkinson's going to be a big part of this if Columbus is going to pull this off again. Scoring leaders for Tampa in the round robin, Tyler Johnson, 2 goals and an assist, Kaloran, a goal and 2 assists, Point, a goal and 2 assists, Kucherov had 1 goal, 1 assist. Stevens had a goal, and there were 5 players that had a single assist to their name. So it was an underwhelming overall number, and yet they still finished second out of 4 in the round robin without really hitting their stride. Vasilevsky was 2-1 with a .921 save percentage. Their special teams were excellent. Their power play 40%. Their penalty kill 90.9%. The problem with their power play was they didn't get enough of them. There weren't enough power plays coming to them. So they need to make sure that they're generating power plays against Columbus through their pressure and through playing their game. Shots for, 29. Shots against, 30. So they were outshot by 1 overall. So that's 3 shots more that they allowed than they took during the round robin. Scoreless, Cirelli. Cirelli was scoreless for the Tampa Bay Lightning. Breakthrough player, there's a few. Palat with 1 assist, but the real question marks for Tampa Bay going to this are going to be if Hedman and Stamkos play, how healthy are they going to be, and how many games are they actually going to play? Are they going to be able to play everything? And if Hedman and Stamkos are out, does this become a landslide for Columbus? Because it feels to me like even healthy, we'd be probably taking Columbus. These teams only met once during the year, and that was in Columbus. That was an overtime victory for Tampa Bay 2-1. So you guys can decide whether or not that means anything. I'm going to say probably not. February was a while ago. Now, when we look at the Columbus side of it, coming through a 5-game series, so remember, this is with 5 games played. This is with 3. In 5 games, Atkinson had 2 goals and 3 assists for Columbus. Dubois, 3 goals and an assist. Foligno, 1 goal, 2 assists. Savard, 3 assists. Jones and Werenski both had a goal and an assist. And if you haven't seen Jones and Werenski together and seen how good they are, you're missing out, because the 2 of them together on the ice are just, it's fantastic. It's just great. Korpisalo was 2-1 with a .956 save percentage. Merzlikins 1-1 with a .946 save percentage. Of course, Elvis wasn't able to play last night. Probably doesn't play in this series. Korpisalo, though, that .956 save percentage, 2 shutouts. He's pretty good. He's pretty good. Power plays, that's where Columbus has a problem. Columbus has to figure out their power play going into this series, or they're going to be in trouble. 0% against Toronto in 5 games. Penalty kill was 84.6%. That's respectable. But again, special teams tell you, at least through round robin here and a series here, Columbus needs to get things going, or they need to make sure that a lot of this game is played 5-on-5. Shots for and against, they had 31.8 shots per game against Toronto. They allowed 37.8. Keep in mind, 2 of those are overtime games where you would have seen more shots. But still, I think Columbus cutting down on shots against is important. And yet, a lot of those shots are from the outside. A lot of those were desperation shots by the Leafs. And Columbus showed they can take down a team that has a lot of offense. They can take down a team that has a decent enough defense, but not necessarily great. You guys can understand where I'm going with this, right? And for all of the complaints I've seen about Freddie Anderson, I've seen some. Are you kidding me? Freddie Anderson had what, a 941 save percentage that series against Columbus? A 1.78 goals against? Something around there. And because I know it may have dropped a bit after last night, but man. Anyhow, Columbus won that by just smothering Toronto, and now they have to try to do it to Tampa. The good news is they've done it to Tampa before, and this is Tortorella against a team that he coached once to, their championship, and it has to feel kind of good to take those teams out. Breakthrough player, Liam Foudy. Foudy had 1 goal in the 5 games against Toronto. That he was on the first line last night when Atkinson went out briefly. He was playing first unit power play time as well by the end of that game. It's only a matter of time before this kid puts up a ton of points. And scoreless, surprisingly scoreless, is Bjorkstrand. I thought Bjorkstrand had a really good series. I thought that he played quite well. He was on the same line as Foudy last night. And yet, no points on the board for them other than Foudy's goal, which was kind of a result of a really awful line change. You can throw stones at a lot of players on that one. And so Tampa has to avoid any kind of mental mistakes like that. Tampa has to be very smart, and they have to try to make Columbus take penalties and utilize their power play. If they can make this about special teams, absolutely they should win it. Problem is when I get into grading where I think everybody is, I definitely give Tampa the offense. And that's even if Stamkos doesn't play. Now, without Stamkos and Hedman, it's going to be harder to generate goals. But they have Johnson, they have Killorn, they have Point, they have Kucherov. They have guys who can score. And so even without Stamkos, I still give the offensive side of it to them. And, of course, Cirelli has yet to get a point, and we know he can score. On this side of the board is everything else. Defense, I have to give that to Columbus based on what we just witnessed against Toronto. That was fantastic. Goaltending, yeah, I'm giving that to Columbus, even though Vasilevsky is arguably the best goalie in the league overall. Right now, Korpisalo is red hot. Tampa's best plan here might be in Game 1, get to him early. Get to him early, make Columbus doubt themselves a little bit. But the problem is there's still no pressure on Columbus. They weren't supposed to be here. Again. They were supposed to fall off. Again. They were supposed to lose. Again. They weren't supposed to beat Toronto. That was the one series in the play-ins that the voting was very, very close. I think by the end it was 53% Toronto, 47% in favor of Columbus. This one's going to be close. I do think this series should be closer. And again, I know there's going to be people who say Columbus in 4, CBJ in 4. I don't see this being a 4-game series this time. But if we don't have Stamkos, it makes it tougher for Tampa. If Hedman misses time in this again, I don't know. I don't know how Tampa wins this series. I don't. And it's interesting because if Game 5 had gone the other way last night, if Toronto had been in this, I might not be picking Tampa either. I'm cheering for Columbus, which is why I'm wearing a Columbus jersey, because I do love that story. I do love the underdog story they've put together. I love the fact that everybody left, and here they are. They're still in the playoffs. And the backup goaltender, Korpisalo, who looked okay last year, became a star this year. And all of these other nondescript, non-star players went out and performed well enough that here they are. They're in a position right now that I don't know if we'd played a full 82-game schedule, they would have made the top 8. They were falling out at the time. There were too many injuries, and there were major injuries going on as well. But here we are. Relatively healthy Columbus Blue Jackets and a Tampa Bay Lightning team that's having a hard time staying healthy. So it's going to be a very interesting series indeed. Tampa Bay, of the 8 teams that were in the round robin, they were one of the teams that seemed to be taking it seriously and putting in that effort. And so we'll see how it turns out for them in round 1. So is Columbus dead? I don't think so. I don't. But at the same time, is Tampa Bay dead? I don't think so either. I think this one goes to 6. And I think it'll be a very fun series one way or the other. But let me know your thoughts in the comment section below. As always, don't forget to hit like and subscribe if you're browsing your way through. You just happened upon this video. Thank you guys so much for watching, for all your support. I will talk to you again soon.